Thank you, Ajay, for joining. He's flown all the way from Bombay just to be here. Ajai Chowdhry. Uh, can I call you on the dais, please, Ajay? Ajay is the co-founder of HCL India, and not many know why is HCL so unique company when we had Microsoft, Infosys, IBM, Accenture, all these guys in India. How did an Indian company make it so big? Ajay will share his why it made it so big later. And it's an amazing coincidence that Ajay was a student of C.K. Prahlad at Michigan University. So that makes this event even more special. And he credits a lot of his learning on how he ran HCL and to the book he's written, Just Aspire. We've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Please put your hands together to invite Mr. Ajai Chowdhry for a keynote address.
Thank you, Benedict, for inviting me here. And it's really a pleasure to be here because I think this award is in the memory of somebody whom I've always admired. And CK was an amazing teacher. And I must tell you a story of CK, which is there in my book also. But when I was in his class, one day he suddenly turned around, typical CK way, he said, "You, Ajay, tell me, what is the vision of your company?" And I was very shocked. I said, why is he asking me this question among all these people who are around? And even I had to answer it. So I said, our vision is to be the largest software company in the world. When I said that, there was total silence in the room. Nobody said anything because we are talking of 1995. And all kinds of global students were there from all over the world. And at the end of the class, I walked up to him and I said, CK, why did you ask me this question? Because it was embarrassing. Nobody really believed anything that I said. So he says, that's the reason why I asked you this question. Nobody here believes what India will be. And really, what's happened, everyone knows. Well, actually today, since when I was coming here just an hour ago, I got the good news that HCL has been named the #1 company by Time magazine in the country. And it's higher than all other companies in the country. So after us follow the most famous Infosys and others, but I'm very happy. So I was asked to talk about what is the inspiration for this book. And really the inspiration was HCL, obviously, because not a single book had been written on HCL, and I had to tell this story. But I decided that out of my 70 odd years, half the time I had spent in HCL, I must also talk about before HCL and after HCL. So that's really what I've done in this book. It was in some manners inspired by my grandson during COVID. During COVID, I was in Goa, my other home, and I was chatting up with him and telling him stories every evening about many things. And then he suddenly turned around and said that, tell me some stories of HCL. What has been your experience? You've been to China, you've been to all these places. Tell me some anecdotes. So I started telling him every day. And so after a few days, I said, hey, if I'm telling my grandson, I better tell the world. So that really was what sparked this whole idea of writing the book. And I think what I've done in this book is really, it's a book meant for people who want to aspire. You know, this is one of those books where you will not find an inscription to say, for my mother, for my father, for this and that. My book says, it's the inspiration. I want this to be the inspiration for the whole country. I want everybody in this country to aspire. And that's really what this book is all about. Now, there are so many experiences in this book, and there are experiences for startups, experiences for students, experiences for founders, and experiences for people who want to be founders. So I sort of describe what a founder should be, and I make one thing pretty clear, that if you want to be a successful CEO of a company, you better be a very good salesman. So I actually have a full chapter on salesmanship, because I really believe that salesmanship makes you really, really score whatever you do, wherever you are. So that's one of the things that I've written about. And then, of course, there's a chapter which is called the people tree. And that's all about how you have to manage people, how people make the company. And really, I must tell you something that I used to do, which is something so different. On every New Year in Noida, where my office was, and there were close to about maybe 20,000 people in all the offices around, and every New Year, I used to go and shake hands with everybody, janitor to general manager. And that's what makes a company. Because really till now, 12 years after I have retired, I still hear from all my HCL people all the time. And they just keep writing to me. And every city I've been to for launch of my book, HCLers have been there in big, big numbers. So I think that's really it's all about how you create a company. But I must tell you how we created the company. We started, 6 of us started with 1.86 lakhs. And I started from a little town called Jabalpur. And we started with 1.86 lakhs. Today the company is $13 billion globally. It's in 60 countries and more than 300,000 employees. So it is really back to what CK used to teach me. He taught me about A is greater than R. If you have the aspiration, resources will happen. So if 1.86 lakhs, that's all we had. And those days you needed a license to make a computer. We didn't have a license. And if you read my book, you'll find out what we did and how we actually made things happen, and how aspiration is more important than resources. And you talked about just do it, and you know, this book was based on that whole concept. Just aspire. If everybody in this room can aspire, every human being in this country can aspire, then we can really make this country great. Now, I was also told to talk about books, and of course I love books. So I'll tell you a few books that I've really liked. One was called Only the Paranoid Will Survive, Andy Grove's book. Unfortunately, Intel is not doing that well at this moment, but doesn't matter, because this is something that I've always followed. I have been extremely paranoid at every stage of my life, because I always used to think, okay, what's going to happen next year? What is going to happen year after? How do you actually grow your company? So when I started, my company was 400 crores and I took it to 12,000 crores. So it's all about thinking about, being very paranoid about everything around you. So that was something that this book taught me. Another very interesting book was called The 1 Second Advantage. The 1 Second Advantage is written by a friend of mine called Kevin Maney in the US. And this book is all about how the best athletes in the world have that 1 second extra advantage. So he really talks about this ice hockey player from Canada who was Wayne Gretzky. And Wayne Gretzky could always figure out where the puck will be before the puck went somewhere. And this is exactly what I've noticed about Sachin Tendulkar. And Sachin also always knows where the ball will be in every cricket ground in the world. what will happen, how it will happen. He has that 1 second advantage. So I think this is a brilliant book about this whole concept of 1 second advantage. The other book that I've really liked and is something that is still absolutely valid. It is written by my friend called Vijay Mahajan. He used to be the first dean of Indian School of Business. And Vijay has written this book called The 86% Opportunity. What does it really mean? It says that the population, 86% of the population lives in China, India, Africa, this part of the world. Then why is it the Western countries, the 14% of the population, make products for only 14% of the population? And he said that India has a fantastic opportunity. If India can attract people to come and design products and make for the world from India, and if they make it for India, they can make it for 86% of the world. And today, if you see, 15, 20 years later, after which he wrote this book, there are close to 1,700 global competency centers in this country who are actually designing in India. Intel designs in India, NVIDIA designs in India, NXP designs in India. But one big issue is that they all design here for themselves. The IP sits there, IP doesn't sit here. So we are still in a manner having a situation where everybody is employed by these companies, but we don't get the value addition that we should have got. So that's something that I will talk about later. So the other book that I'm absolutely crazy about this book. It's called Singularity is Near. And Singularity is written by this fantastic guy, scientist in the US. He actually talks about when will computing and the brain join up, which is called singularity. And before that, he also talks about when will the Turing test will be passed. Now, what's a Turing test? All of you will ask me. Turing test was created by Alan Turing from the UK, who was the guy who actually cracked the enigma to win the World War. He was an amazing scientist, an amazing mathematician. He actually talked about that someday computers will overtake the brain. It hasn't yet happened. It's expected that it'll happen somewhere around 2030. So that's the prediction at this moment. So, these are some of the books that I've really liked. And next thing that I want to talk about is the new generation around here today in the country, all around us. The new generation. And again, I bring it back to books. Too much time we are spending on the screen. How can we spend more time reading more and more and more and more books? That is what is required, because what do books do for you? What do books do for you is they expand your horizon dramatically. So that's really why you should read a book. Well, when I was founding chairman of IIT Hyderabad, I told my director when I was founding the institute, I said, I do not want nerds coming out of this institute. And you go to any IIT, people will be looking at only electronics or mechanical and nothing else. They do not attend a single humanities class. They hate going to humanities classes. So what we decided to do was, number one, we created a minor in entrepreneurship, and then we added 36 little subjects, which were 1 or 2 credits, 18 hours each. And we said, you have to take 5 of those. Some of them were drama, some of them was writing, some of them was music, some of them was astronomy, and you had to choose them. We call them fractals. So I think the whole idea was that how do you get people who come out of institutions to be a full, well-rounded people? And that's really what I believe is essential for young people today. Think not just about what you are doing, but you should be like a T. The top of the T is where you have multiple things that you have to have, and the length of the T is what you specialize in. So basically, as I write in my book also, be a rangist. Do not just be, a nerd. Okay. So that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Now, you wanted me to talk about is, what do I think today about the young people? What are they doing? What they should be doing, and how we should go forward. I think one of the things that has been asked of me from a lot of youngsters as I've gone all over the country talking about my book, one question typically comes up to me and which says, what is this thing about work-life balance? Okay, so this is something that I feel it very strange when somebody asks me this question. Why are you so worried about work-life balance at age 30? I don't understand this at all. If you love your work, then what is the issue of work-life balance? If you don't love your work, don't do it. But if you love your work, forget about work-life balance. In the beginning of your life, you have to spend 48 hours a day. It doesn't matter. When poor Narayan Murthy from this city put up that 70-hour thing, there was so much opposition to it. Why? If you want to make something happen, you want to build a company, you want to bring a startup, don't think about time. There is no concept of time when I started HCL. I mean, there was really no time to think about anything else. Now, coming to what do I think about where India should be? And this is my favorite subject. And I've written about a little about in my book. My last chapter talks about my dream for India in terms of what I've been doing all my life, creating the electronics industry. Where do I see electronics industry should go? And my dream has been that India should be a product country. We must make electronic products in India. When I started HCL, we used to design products and make them in India. We created a brand in India. We took our product from manufacturing to Singapore and the US. We were not scared because we are so young. When you're young, you're not scared at all. So you take such risks. So I always believe that you should not worry about, what will happen. Don't think like that. Just aspire. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to say. Right at this moment, I'm part of a think tank. And this think tank was started by me and Sharad Sharma from Bangalore. And he created iSpirit, which is all about creating software products. And I've created a foundation called Epic, which is all about creating hardware products. So over a cup of coffee about 1.5 years ago, we decided to, we chatted about it and said, what should we do next? So we decided that let's gather some similar thinking people into a little think tank, and 7 of us got together. And we said, let us talk about the next 25 years of India. In this country, we only work election to election, 5 years. We said, nobody has written a plan for the next 25 years. We'll sit and write that plan. We've done that. And what we are talking about is that for the last 25, 30 years, India has been extremely successful in being a services country. But there are a lot of headwinds to services. Software is having headwinds because of AI. And similar headwinds are there for all services. So we believe that the country should strongly move towards being a product nation. We should design products, make products, manufacture products. And currently our manufacturing out of the total GDP is just 15%. We need to take it to 25%, but not making it for the rest of the world at very low value addition, by actually designing and making products here so that we can create brands out of India. My dream is that in 20 years, we should have an NVIDIA out of India. Thank you.